What do I have to achieve by going to a gay bar?
Hang out with the fellas?
What fellas do I hang out with that are gay?
You hang out with
besides you.
Yeah. All right, fair. Got me.
You sit up, yeah. You sit up, yeah.
Saints lost last night, but hey,
Lost to the communist.
hey, I think they got shots.
Yeah,
If Jabu can get it,
you're starting to sound like Dallas Cowboy fans. Like, this is our year.
look, I hate the Cowgirls with a passion. And you know what? I love watching Stephen A. just clown them.
So I've come to the conclusion. Okay. So Dad was a coach. He always told me, son, whenever you win, keep your mouth shut, because the moment you lose, you're gonna get it.
Yep.
So I get invited to all these LSU Alabama parties in Sugar Mill Pond with all the older folks, and I'm the only one wearing an Alabama shirt.
I'm coming with you to the next one.
Come on. Alabama wins 8 out of the last 9 years. The 1 year,
Which was what?
2019.
Yeah.
The 1 year LSU finally wins one. My phone is going off the hook. Dude, everybody's losing their fucking minds. I'm sitting there like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I thought we had a deal. Apparently not. So in the middle of that party, I delivered the most groundbreaking insult that one sports fan can say to another one. I said, I have come to the conclusion that LSU fans are more nauseating than Dallas Cowboy fans.
I'd say so. I mean, LSU fans are insane. Like, they want to fucking jump on the wagon when they want to. They want to jump off. You lose a game or two, coach got to go.
Coach got to go.
I mean, dude, what the fuck? You just won a national championship like a year or two ago. Where's he got to go?
That's so true.
Dude, literally. Kelly's going to lose a game. He's got to go. Dude, you talking about Kel? He's one of the best. I mean.
Are you trying to say that Coach Orgeron deserved to remain as head coach, or Les Miles when both were fired? No, of course not. As an objective person who's not an LSU, I mean, I am an LSU fan, but the objective person would say they deserve to lose their jobs.
Not after one game.
Not after one game.
Not after one game. No, it was a culmination of multiple games and multiple.
Coach O should have never been the head coach in the first place. He got it because he was the next best in line after Lesticles got fired.
There's also the Louisiana aspect to it.
Louisiana, he was a great recruiter.
Yeah.
Great recruiter.
Great ambassador for the state.
But not an X's and O's head coach.
No, not at all.
You make him an associate head coach as a recruiter and maybe like the D-line or offensive line coach, and you leave it at that. But he won, I guess, how many games after he got the head coach or the interim head coach, and then they were like, okay, well, it's just an easy choice for us. We don't want to go out and try to find someone.
But you could still say he had one of the greatest seasons of all time.
Yeah,
I would put it up.
One of the greatest seasons of all time.
Them and the 01 Miami team is a neck and neck.
I'd add in that 03-04 USC.
You and the 05 Texas with Vince Young.
So the 04
with Reggie Bush
the
and
04 USC,
Liner.
The 04 USC, I think, beats that Texas.
Well, was that the same year that LSU won the Natty?
No, that was 03. Whenever they split.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they split the national championship.
Wow.
They didn't split.
They split
what's
it.
up with
They
that
didn't
bullshit?
split. They didn't split.
So USC won the AP trophy.
Yeah,
AP
that
bullshit.
was back then when sports writers decided who was the national championship.
Have y'all seen
They got a trophy.
the new thing? The college.
You're such
football,
a fucking nerd, Scotty.
The college football
USC
committee.
fan. Hold on. I gotta say this. USC fan, Chicago Bears fan. Do you have any sort of loyalty to the place that you live in the slightest? Not a Saints fan.
Not a Saints
Barely
fan.
a
I love
UL
the
fan.
Saints. I love the
No, you
Saints.
fucking don't. No, you
love
don't.
the Saints.
Name 3 players.
Name 3 players on the Saints: Jameis Winston, Alvin Kamara, and then
Alvin what?
Devontae Davis.
Devontae what?
Devontae Davis.
This is the linebacker.
Mario Davis?
Mario Davis.
Yeah, you're fucking dumb. You're not a Louisiana sports
thought you
fan,
were gonna
and that's
name-
okay.
Go
I
Cajuns.
just need you to admit to your fucking audience that you
hey.
are not a
If you're a true
passionate
UL
Louisiana
fan,
sports fan.
If you're a true UL fan, you wouldn't go for LSU.
I how can I not be both? I graduated.
can't be both.
My
You
parents
cannot be
graduated from
both.
LSU. I grew up with
you,
that.
Did you?
No, I graduated from UL. I love both.
But did you go to LSU?
Ask me this: if UL and LSU plays each other, who do I cheer for? Ask me that.
Who did you cheer for, Carter?
UL.
UL.
How much though? How much is your percentage?
100%.
But you're gonna be happy if LSU wins too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
It depends on the context of the season.
Have y'all seen the new thing? College Football Committee wants to break off and them be in charge instead of NCAA.
Do it.
What?
Do it.
I think so too. I think the NCAA is some trash.
Dude, it's just like Blue Mountain State whenever Alex Moran said, they went in there, he goes, who are you? How did you get your job?
Yeah.
Who are they? How
They're
did
some
they get their job?
trash. I hate the NCAA.
So tell me, you played college baseball. Oh, by the way, folks, welcome back to UnWoKeN, the #1 podcast in the world for young conservative media. That's a fact. My facts, of course, the only ones that fucking matter. Back at Acadiana Cast, as you can tell, Carter, our producer, is back there, getting a little heated because we're talking sports today.
Yeah, I got a little hot.
We're diving into some sports and some medicinal purposes today.
It's a Saturday. Football is almost here. I just want football so bad.
Dude,
Jack.
and I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that this is the first weekend I have been off in 3 years.
Let's go.
I am ready to fucking tailgate, baby.
Let's go.
I'm getting lit up like I did whenever I
Litty,
pledged,
I
brother. I'm getting lit up.
College style, baby.
Woo, boy, I'm so fucking pumped. I ain't missing the game. Here today with Mr. Connor Toups.
Yo,
the
yo,
fucking
yo.
stud of a baseball player right here. So, Mr. Toups, tell me, NIL, fan of it or not?
I'm a fan of it. I am.
Did it take you a while to come around to it?
No, because in my opinion, I was a preferred walk-on, so I didn't get the help of a scholarship. Baseball is one of those sports you only get, I think it's 8 scholarships per roster, and you got 35.
35 on the team?
35 on the team, 27 travels. You telling me 8 people get a scholarship? That ain't fair. I mean, you want to stretch it out to your out-of-state guys because they got to pay more for tuition, this and that. In-state guys, they can move here. They get help from their parents. It's cheaper. And then local guys, they can stay at home like I had to do. I mean, you can't get a job. So that is your job. Where does your money come from?
Dude, and it took me – I played at a small school, a sport that nobody really watched, okay, rugby, and we could only work 1 hour a week. I can't even imagine what it's like playing at a big baseball school.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I was studying on the bus, plane, hotel, get home.
Oh, nobody could take your test for you like they did for Leonard?
I wish.
Like they did
man.
for Leonard?
That'd have been nice. I did get, some privileges with some easier classes
Yeah.
and priority scheduling and, rate my professor.
Yeah, but you're also having to do more than the average college student. As a college athlete, you do more than the average student with waking up early and doing sometimes 2-a-days, and you have to go to certain study hours, and there's all these things that go into it. I hate the idea that college athletes just get a free ride. It's not, nothing about it is free.
Right. Absolutely.
No.
So the NIL, I like it, but there's some negatives to it for sure. Definitely should get compensated for your hard work. I mean, a lot of guys that, live and die by that sport. And then after that, they got to go home and study, stay up all night, wake up at 4 or 5 a.m., go to a workout, start the whole day. I think it's good because it does compensate them in a way, and it helps them out for sure. The negatives, I feel like, especially with the generation now that's, in college, they feel entitled. And I feel like that's all they care about is, oh, well, where's my next deal? Where's the money at? Like, they kind of lose sight of, oh, I got to work my ass off to play. I got to do what I got to do. It's not all about the freaking money. It's about working my ass off and making it to the next level. And now, it's just entitlement, and I think that is kind of like is more of like an ego thing and more of like, them just feeling like they're above everyone else because of that.
One of my buddies who's a collegiate coach, not at UL, but at a school I'm not going to mention, he said, dude, we're talking about college, Division I, College I athletes right now. You can't coach them like they even coached y'all in high school. They are so sensitive. Football players.
Yeah.
Football players.
It's bad now. You tell a kid, you even curse at a kid, they'll go home and tell their parent, mommy and daddy, dude, where's the thick skin now with all these players? Like, when I was growing up, dude, the coaches were in your face, nose to nose. Like, that's – if a coach doesn't do that, they don't give a shit about you. They don't care.
Dude, that goes back to something that I've been wanting to bring up on this show is toxic masculinity is what they call it. I call it pussyitis.
Exactly.
Okay? Men today, nowadays, what they got to realize is that we are made the way we are because that is evolution working. That's how we succeed as a society. That's why this gender pronoun shit, Bill Maher said, by 2054, if the charts keep going like they are, we'll all be gay. And kids are doing that nowadays.
That's why I don't want to have kids.
I had this conversation last night with somebody. I said, you know what? I think people are now doing it more as a trend.
Yeah, exactly.
They see that people, if it's gay, it's cool. So I'm gonna say I'm gay. I'm gonna say I'm lesbian. I'm gonna say this.
Ain't
and that.
nothing cool about that. There was Adam and Eve for a reason. God created
I don't
Adam
use religion.
and Eve.
I can't use religion as any argument because I don't go to church enough.
Well, neither do I. But if he wanted there to be gay people and lesbians, he would have said, "Okay, well, there's 2 girls, there's 2 guys. Go at it." No, you're not born that way. It's a choice, and it's how you're raised.
I don't know. I can't use religion as any argument, like I said, because I'm a hypocrite.
True.
I'm a hypocrite if I do, because I have premarital sex all the time.
Same. I'm a hypocrite.
So I mean,
Everyone's hypocrites.
It's just hypocritical.
But that's a fascinating topic, though. So you believe that gayness is a choice?
Yes, I do.
Expound on that.
I don't think that you're born with this many chromosomes and it makes you.
You think it's a nature versus nurture thing?
I think there could be a psychological aspect to it.
Well, I think it's what you grow up seeing, how you're taught by your parents, and what you see with your own eyes elsewhere. You know, kids get phones at early ages and they see this. This is cool, or this is what I like. They choose to do that. Back in the day, they didn't have those opportunities, so the numbers were a lot lower than they are now.
Oh, it was back in 1920. I think it was at 2.4% of the population identified as gay. Then it's climbed up to 28% around there. But I don't know if it's people. I should have asked my cousin when he came on the show. I said, "What made you gay?" I should have asked him that. Maybe it's a psychological thing. Maybe it's something that they saw growing up.
Yeah,
which
I think it's a huge,
which would lead to that it would fall in a category that maybe you're saying it's a choice. If it was a psychological aspect, and that maybe that's their perception of things, that's what they like. But the counter argument that they would use against us is saying, "Did you grow up picking that you liked women?"
Right.
That's their counter argument.
I mean, I've known a lot of people who grew up their whole lives, big time football players, hard asses. They woke up in their mid-20s, I'm gay. Would you just woke up today and you said, I'm gay? It was a choice probably when you were younger, and it was frowned upon, so you didn't do it. I mean, it is what it is. If you like guys, then you like guys. I mean, why hide it? And then you hear of stories, married, guys, 3 kids, wake up one day and tell their wife, "Oh, I'm not into you anymore. I'm into a."
Now, given I don't understand how any man could be gay because women are so beautiful. But
I agree.
The way I said thank you for eliminating some of the prospects around.
Exactly.
Now, last night at Corner Bar, dude, I'm telling you. So I don't know what the hell was going on. It turned into almost like it looked like it was a gay bar at one point. And
I'd have jetted.
Me and my boy were sitting there. I'm like, did we miss a memo or something, bro? I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to lock fingers, we're going to hold hands, and we're going to get out of here. We're going to survive this.
So y'all don't get attacked by someone.
Scotty, have you never intentionally gone to a gay bar?
No.
Never been to Bolt?
Nope.
It's a good time.
No, sir.
The fellas like to have fun.
I'm good, brother.
Why?
Because that's not the crowd I want to be around. I don't agree with it.
Me neither.
I don't agree with the lifestyle.
What's the lifestyle?
Elaborate on that.
So I have many gay and lesbian friends. None of them will ever go to a pride parade. They all they refuse to go to a pride parade. This is a bunch of straight white girls running around with rainbow flags, acting like they're doing something for a cause.
I believe that.
My whole thing is, as guys, we get along better with lesbians. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
What do I have to achieve by going to a gay bar?
Hang out with the fellas?
What fellas do I hang out with that are gay?
Do you hang out with
besides you?
Yeah. All right, fair. Got me. But hanging out with the boys, like the boys, like you'll have
my friends would never go.
All right, so say you're on a bachelor party and y'all just tiptoe into a gay bar, you gonna go or you gonna stay out?
First of all,
I know it's a weird
Are
scenario.
you that insecure that you can't walk into a gay bar and be?
no, dude.
It's a weird
if
scenario.
I would never intentionally go into one just to go into one.
What if you pick up your future wife?
Because I don't see the point. I'm trying to go meet women if I'm going to a bar.
So you only go to bars to meet women?
No, I'll go to get fucked up with my boys.
Exactly. Exactly. The entire gay bar is boys just hanging out, having a good time with the boys, getting fucked up.
But they're not the boys.
Yeah, they're not yet.
I don't know what they identify as. Maybe they identify as a two-spirited penguin.
Well, Scotty, let's not forget you are embroiled in this this brand new controversy in Acadiana Cast with Free Maddie.
Hey, Maddie.
Matthew J. Brockovich hosts the Free Maddie podcast. He is a gay rights activist. Sorry, it's been a long day. He did a lot of work with the
Drag queen
story time. He's a retired private investigator, and he's having a podcast. And then the day before he released his show, he called out Scotty.
Yeah, I can read it. I can read it exactly what he said.
let's hear this encounter.
So, Carter, I was made aware by somebody that
me. I'm not afraid to admit it. I did it.
So, Mr. Maddie said, it's quite the understatement to say I'm different than the MAGA dillhole that hosts UnWoKeN. We are diametrically opposed. His hashtag, fuck your pronouns, for fuck's sake. Anyway, don't listen to him, and let's crush him in the ratings. Okay, thanks. So, I responded as the intellectual human being that I am that has read books before.
What books?
Bruh, I read Goodnight Moon and Destin.
The alphabet. The alphabet for dummies.
My boys passed out. And I opened up Goodnight Moon. I read them all. Bedtime story. So anyway, I responded to Mr. Free Maddie, and I said, I'm sure what you lack in intelligence you make up for with effort. If you keep working hard, I'm sure someday you'll be at the top of the bell curve, sir. Here at the UnWoKeN podcast, we believe in charity and giving back. I have no problem using my awesome following on all platforms to give you an opportunity to have your voice heard by more than 30 people while engaging in some civil discourse. So how would you like to be the next guest on the show? Hashtag sit in the chair. I'm making shirts. Take hand out, sit in the chair.
Do it.
But from what I hear about the guy, he's a very intellectual human being, and I really do look forward to sitting across the table from him, because I think we could have a big discussion on the STM thing.
Ooh.
Which I support. I support the Diocese of Lafayette 100% what they're doing. So the Diocese of Lafayette, the new rules, no student will be called by their preferred pronouns. They're going to be called by what they were born as.
Love it.
And I saw on his page, he organized a protest for it. He did. Now look,
What an
hey,
ass clown.
the way that I look at it is I have a lot of practice with people who think like that because my older sister and my younger sister. I mean, they think the same way. Actually, he knows my younger sister because my younger sister's always in Freetown and all that stuff. But I've heard a lot about the guy, and he seems like a kind of person that we could sit down right here, and it's going to be interesting.
I want to be here for that.
But one thing I will say is that I don't lose debates when it comes down to this, because one, as a Republican, the first thing people are thinking, and Maddie, I'm giving you pointers right now. I am literally giving you the key to success right now. The first thing people think as a Republican, they think that I'm gonna use the religious argument, which if the moment you use religion in any debate, you lose.
Yep.
Because we don't know which religion's right. We have no fucking idea what's right or wrong.
We don't know what is what.
Nothing. And it sounds agnostic of me, which is different. But I'm just being honest. Everything we do is based on faith. And if you don't go to church every Sunday, you don't go to confession every Sunday, and you don't get the Eucharist every Sunday, you cannot use religion unless you're Ben Shapiro. And Ben Shapiro is Jewish. He's kosher to the T, and he still didn't use religion. It's a losing argument.
Yeah.
They think Republican religion. You can use that. Then you're going to try to use the traditional marriage thing and about how it procreates. Well, we can use that argument because, one, if you want to use science to back it up, that it's not a choice, it's embodied in your genes, then evolution is how we succeed as a society, right? How we keep on moving forward evolution. How do you procreate?
Yep.
How do you do it? Simple as that. I'm not giving you any more pointers, but Maddie, I do look forward to talking to you, my friend. I do look forward to that. So, hopefully, you bring your A game. I know he's a private investigator, probably knows everything about me by now.
Not everything.
But I ran a background check on him too, because I found a background check website. So. Bada boom.
$5.99 later, he knows where he went to high school.
Yep. No, don't know that.
Got to upgrade on the website.
You don't know shit.
Shit, dude. I ain't paying $30 to fucking run a background check on somebody. Hey, if you don't think it's important enough to put in your Facebook info, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
I do read the bios, though, on Tinder.
They're pretty interesting.
You have to make that interesting, man. It's like
You
Bumble.
had to.
It's like Bumble, all right?
Man.
Bumble, the girl has I think it's the most interesting concept to dating app because the girl has to message you first.
But
But
what are the odds
something-
of that
want something.
happening?
What do you mean, the messaging
The
you first?
girls don't want to do that.
Well, they have to on Bumble.
I know, but it's like a lose-lose.
Careful what you say now because you're in a relationship.
Yes.
Well, I remember one of my former coworkers, she said, you should get on Bumble because that's how you know you're going to get a good girl. You find bad girls on Tinder, and this is coming from her. You find bad girls on Tinder. Hinge is literally unhinged. Bumble, it allows a sweet girl to see what, and then let her make the first move, as in just saying hello, open up the conversation, and then typically you go in.
Well, if you're going to do that, at least you expect something on Tinder, right? You expect a good message. I want to be wooed. Come on, put some effort in.
Yeah.
Put some fucking effort in. Because if you just say, hey, that leads to me putting in my pickup line.
All right, how about this, Scotty? Let's read your last Bumble message from a girl. Connor, do you think he has one?
Yeah.
Do you think any girls ever reached out to him?
You see how good looking I am, bro?
I do. I do.
So she goes, really, Scott? Either my guy friends have had crushes on me or y'all are blindly swiping right. Because it was somebody I knew.
Let's
Any
see-
strangers?
Yeah, let's see one that you don't know.
Oh, someone I don't know?
Yeah.
Let's see.
And also, we got to see a picture.
All right. You have very nice teeth.
That's it?
That's all she said.
The other ones are all, oh, hey, or hello.
Bunch of O's, right?
Yeah, a lot of them are just, hey, hello. And then whenever you're on, like, let's say you're on Tinder or something, and it's the
That I can read to you.
you're the guy, and typically you do the first thing. Sometimes girls say it first, which is nice.
If they're thirsty.
So when I matched with 4 girls last night, dude, I was that's what I was doing when I was so fucked up.
Oh,
I was just swiping,
Swiping left and right.
just clocking in.
So I said, well, here I am. So what are your other 2 wishes? See, one girl goes, well, welcome. I would like a jet and an infinite supply of fuel so I can fly anywhere I want, anytime. Also, I want a ball python. I said, well, I'll see what I can do. Another one said that so that's the funniest thing whenever they respond to what are your other 2 wishes, whenever they actually tell your other
like
2
that.
wishes. So let's see, what's another good one?
Mine is so lame. Like I have like a go-to, and it's just it's hey, do you know how much a polar bear weighs?
Enough to break the ice.
Enough to break the ice.
Nice. I like that.
Let's see. So
I haven't gotten a person say like I've already heard that yet,
That's good.
which is nice.
That's good.
when
Just keep trying until you.
Yeah.
Okay. So
One
what do you
goes-
do once you do hear that?
They
you
respond.
haven't-
They respond, and they say, "Oh, that's funny," and then I typically be like, "All right, I'm done."
Wow.
One goes, let's see. I want a buffet of cookies, and lastly, to see my genie free. And I said, okay. She goes, and I wish for your number. You're cute, and I like you. You're funny. I said, well, hot damn. So, but somebody had a really good one. Oh, yeah. All right. I said, well, here I am. So what are the other 2 wishes? She goes, LO, I don't need 2 other ones if the first one is granted. I said, you silver-tongued devil, you.
That's nice.
That was slick. Kind
Kind of match your match right there.
No, not really.
No?
No.
So Scotty, you believe in as a conservative the family and conservative values. What's your take in the modern conservative with social dating?
Social dating,
like these apps like Tinder and Bumble and whatnot.
Well, I think it makes it. See, I'm somebody who around friends, I think the phone should be down. Human interactions are key because nowadays all these things do is limit people's ability to have a conversation. Notice how these younger generations, especially these college students, you watch them interact with each other. Nobody can look each other in the eye.
None. It's like, shit.
I mean, we had a long night last night, so that's why these shades are on. Connor has his hat down a little bit. But if you can't look somebody in the eye to have a conversation, that's social anxiety already for you. How are you ever going to combat social anxiety if all you can do is text somebody how you're feeling about something?
I agree.
So Scott, you're like a couple years younger than me, but do you remember the first time you were at like a bar in downtown Lafayette during college? And I remember there was this period where all of a sudden it switched, and I was a little older, hanging out with like the younger KAs, and the girls and guys who were hanging out, instead of switching numbers, it was Snapchat.
I swear to God, if I hear another guy ask a woman for their Snapchat instead of their number, I must fucking slap somebody.
That's how I got my girlfriend now.
You realize you can get her Snapchat by getting her number.
Not from Snapchat. No, I'm not saying I got her from Snapchat. But, so, funny story. Met her at the one and only Jefferson Street Pub. She was working there.
Great place.
And
sending them an invoice.
She said one of her favorite things about me.
No free ads, Scotty.
No free ads.
None. One of her favorite things about me when we met was that I did not ask for her Snapchat. Well, how is that a thing? What? So, why do people communicate more on Snapchat than anything else? Why?
Well, I think for starters, because if you ask them for their Snapchat, they'll have no problem putting in their name, and then they can just not respond completely or take you right off. If you give them their number,
you can get their Snapchat. You can get
Snapchat, all that stuff, which I have heard a lot of girls nowadays say they'd rather give their Snapchat out than their number.
Yeah.
Not to me personally, but I asked them questions about that. I said, why do y'all just give the Snapchat out? So we don't want them calling us and doing all this and that. I said, they can call you on Snapchat.
Calls, text, everything. I mean, what's your take concept on it?
Well, I mean, I guess I like the idea of I would ask for a girl's number. Ideally, I would call her for a date. I won't.
So you call over a text? So you call her and say, hey.
Most of my ideals and beliefs, I don't follow through with.
You need to start taking your own advice.
Yeah, I do not take my own advice.
But you never call the day after you get her number.
So is it a call, an actual phone call, or is it a text?
Yeah, it's actual call. But you can text too, but you don't text the next day you get it. That you don't text the day after.
What's the time?
I wait about 4 or 5 days.
Kind of make them sweat.
Yeah, because I mean, if they don't have my attention.
What if they don't remember you?
Well, then they probably weren't interested.
That's true.
If they don't remember, if I just say my name one time and I don't have to explain it to you twice,
it's tattooed on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't remember who I am, from that point, you were either drunk or you weren't that interested. And at that point, I don't pursue you.
That's true.
Scotty, are you worried that going to bars is not the best place to meet women?
It really isn't the best place. The best place to meet a woman would probably be the grocery store.
Or church?
You see?
It's the typical thing.
You see?
I met my girlfriend at a bar. Love you, Olivia, but
here's the thing about the church aspect. If I decide I want children, I want them to be raised Catholic. But I also got to become a better Catholic myself before that happens. Because I wouldn't pursue a girl who goes to church every Sunday because I know for a fact that we would not last long because, one, I don't go to church every Sunday. And somebody who goes to church every Sunday, that is a vital part of their personality, of who they are as a person. That makes up a lot of it. We're not going to mesh well in terms of that. Because I am a vulgar human being in terms of my vocabulary and my lifestyle. But, yeah, I mean, it is a great place. Church is a great place to find a girl if you are on that same level of spirituality as the other person.
I'd say the grocery store would be the best.
Yeah, but the one thing people got to realize, look, if you lock eyes with a woman and you're not single, but if you lock eyes with a girl in a grocery store or anywhere, like at a random place, and she's still looking at you, do not look away and take that fucking leap. Like I'll walk up to people randomly. I had a conversation with that tree outside for about an hour before y'all got here. What are you gonna lose? What's the worst thing that can happen to you if you go up and approach a beautiful girl that you saw and introduce yourself? Oh, I have a boyfriend, or
No.
No is the worst.
and now it is a very nerve-wracking thing to do, because I could sit here and preach it all day, but it took me a long time to be able to get to the point where I'm that confident in myself to just take my shot.
All right, answer me this, Scotty. And Connor, you could probably answer this as well. At the gym, what are the etiquettes for approaching a woman?
Don't do it while she's squatting. Don't come up from behind.
It's a tough one.
Is there a way to ask a girl's number at the gym?
I'd say water fountain.
So you just waiting for her to get to the water fountain?
No, you can like
What about-
nonchalantly.
What about if she's working out by herself and you see her struggling with free weights and you just approach her and say, "Hey, do you need a squat? Do you need some help?" Or what would you say to that? Like,
in this day
missing the word.
in this day and age,
Do you need a spot?
In this day and age, women yell at you for opening up the door for them.
This is true.
But
Gym's a good place too, but it's hard.
I will say this, though, and this is why I love Lafayette and Acadiana. You can still open doors for people, man, woman, whatever, and everyone's appreciative.
Yeah.
You go up north, like
They yell
New
at
York,
you.
they yell at you.
They'll curse you and say, "You don't think I can open the door for myself?" Sorry.
All right, Griffin Hall one time.
Griffin. College is a different.
Well, UL really isn't that liberal at all. UL's more conservative.
Yeah,
which I love.
I agree with that.
I love it. I mean, even being in my car, even though my car got keyed, my Trump sticker off of it. But I mean,
well, what do you think the percentage of the professors are conservative?
Oh God, dude, I'd say
maybe 2%.
Oh,
maybe
2%.
1.5.
2% are liberal.
No, conservative.
2%. All of business.
Like, let's not even say liberal. Let's say just
Left
center right.
Center right. I'd say all of Moody center right almost.
So I have a funny story about that.
Center right. I'd say Moody center right for the most part.
My sociology professor,
Oh, that's all left.
white guy, okay, racist over white people.
Oh yeah, but that's not a thing. That's not a thing. You can't be racist against white people.
And he's white. So it's a class that mainly athletes take. And, other than football, we would sit in the back. Football players sit in the front, and mainly African American.
We didn't take that again.
And so white person, raises their hand during class, never will call on them. But second an African American does, every single one. I'm like, how does that make sense? Like, and he's a redneck kind of guy, like older, and I'm like, how are you racist over your own race?
Well,
Was that a thing?
because he's checking his privilege, Connor. He is checking his privilege. Here's the thing about the sociology and the those kind of arts is what I'm gonna call them. I thought it was an interesting class. We learned about the Tuskegee experiment, all things like that. Especially, was it Freud who put regular people as prison guards? And yeah, that was a very interesting experiment as well, to see how people reacted to being a source of power compared to guarding prisoners. But in terms of that, you got to look at these social sciences now. They're starting to dive more into the fact that America was built to be successful for us, is what they claim. And I listened to Ben Shapiro say this the other day. He said, the best privilege people can have is growing up in a two-parent household. He said, we don't have a privilege problem. We have a single-parent problem.
A father problem.
Father problem. Big time. Hey, I grew up two-parent household. Parents divorced when I was 13, but they still worked together to do a lot of things. They always got along. That's a privilege, but to say that because I grew up in a two-parent household, my life is automatically better than yours, that's bullshit, man. First of all, everybody has situations that make them go through shit. You can have a mental disability. You could have something physically wrong with you. All that shit, man. That's something that's very hard to overcome. But to sit here and say that because of my skin color, when you don't know a damn fucking thing about me, you don't know anything about me whatsoever. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know a single fucking thing about me as a person. To sit here and tell me that automatically because I'm white, I have an advantage in society over you, that's fucking bullshit. That really is. We don't have affirmative action, right? No. What if we had a white entertainment network? What if we had a white entertainment network? How would that flow over?
It'd be a shit show.
I mean, you could say that we grew up. Some people say America is fundamentally bad. The people who say that America is fundamentally bad, this is, I try to have conversations with people. But if you are a firm believer that America is fundamentally bad, there's only one thing I have to say to you is fuck off. I can't talk to you at that point. This episode of UnWoKeN is brought to you by Delta 3 Tactical. Delta 3 Tactical has a simple mission. We strive to provide the highest quality parts, rifles, equipment, and offer them at the best possible price. From a gun enthusiast, a competitive 3-gun shooter, or a military or law enforcement professional, our rifles, parts, and equipment will serve you well and won't let you down when it counts. We use and sell the highest quality American-made, listen to that, folks, American-made materials. You will never find inferior imported materials. We just won't allow it. We all love to shoot, just like most of you, and we won't sell anything that we ourselves wouldn't trust our lives on. We have a good time doing what we do, from building to helping answering questions. It is our passion, and we appreciate each and every customer. Please feel free to send us an email if you have any questions regarding AR rifles or products. Thank you for your interest in our company and hope to hear from you soon. And let me tell you something. I have about 5 of these guns at my house, and they're bad fucking ass. I see a lot of people that we knew that are our age now starting to move into big cities and come back, and now they have a completely different perspective.
It's the big city thing. And, I'm not against it. I think everyone should, if you are born or grow up in Lafayette, should move out for a little while and then come back.
Go to a liberal arts school. Let me know how you come back.
Yeah.
Go. You really want to see what liberalism is? Go to a liberal arts school and be around those people. Because right now you're just hearing shit from your fucking gender studies friends that you're meeting at a Vino remix bar.
Connor made a good point though. Leave yes. For a bit, come back, experience other cultures.
Yes,
experience different areas of living, and then figure out where you align.
I mean, it tells a lot about you, because I feel like people that grow up in Lafayette and spend their whole childhood and younger adulthood here, they live in a bubble. Lafayette is a bubble town. It's very safe. It's very family oriented. It's a great town. Raise your kids, everything. But the second you venture out, it's a different world. Literally, Lafayette it's literally a bubble.
Yeah.
I did it. I didn't do it for long. I went to Los Angeles, then I went to New Orleans, which New Orleans is a different world than Lafayette. Yeah, it might be an hour and a half, 2 hours away, but
I ain't going there.
I mean, it makes you appreciate some things and make you not appreciate some things, for sure.
Well, one thing that I will counter with that is, you go out there for a year, you go someplace differently for a year. Are you literally going to say that 1 year changed everything that you grew up knowing?
No.
Like, can you change that fast?
Yes and no.
I feel like some people can. It depends on what they're exposed to.
Yeah, it depends.
So
their exposure level.
A prime example. All right. Somebody that a good friend of mine, always conservative, came back from living in Houston, and said that they don't understand why I won't call people by their preferred pronouns. Because isn't it the kind and respectful thing to do? I said, well, tell me. I said, if I was to call them by the preferred pronouns, wouldn't I be lying? I said, aren't we taught not to lie first? So don't start spitting your morals at me now at that point. It seems like, to me, one thing you got to remember, you always go back on your morals and what your principles and what you believe in. You can change how you feel about a certain subject, about a certain thing, but don't move away for a year and come back and say that, oh, this town is completely fucking backwards. You know these people raised you, right?
Yeah, that's what bothers me. The people who like move from a and not just Lafayette or Acadiana, people who move from a smaller town, go to the big city, and then just have nothing but kind of like
Negative.
Condemn the people where they came from.
Yeah, that's the worst.
That really bothers me.
That's really what that tells me about you, is that you're willing to turn your back on everybody who's helped you get to the point that
where
you're
you
at.
came from. It's all about where you came from as well. Like
Now, at the
that.
same time, I'm sure you can have critiques of where you came from.
It's understandable, but not completely flip a switch and where you came from is now shit.
Well, how much is that is done like person to person, and how much is that is really like done on like social media? It's like
Social media seems like to be the number one thing.
Yeah.
Because I remember whenever everybody was posting that Blackout Tuesday thing, I didn't post a picture of the Blackout Tuesday. You know what I posted? I posted that picture of I posted the video. Remember the Titans, Herman Boone. That's what I posted. I said I'm not conforming to this one.
Right.
I got told to take off my white hood because I didn't make a comment on the George Floyd scenario until we heard everything. I learned early on. I made a mistake one time with the kids wearing the MAGA hats in the Indian drum.
the Covington.
The Covington Catholic kids. I made the mistake of saying, damn, man. I said, this isn't who we are as a party. This isn't our campaign. Without
Because you fell into the trap of what you were shown.
Fell into the trap. I said, I am never going to do that again.
That kid made so much money.
Sandman. Oh, dude, I'm so happy for that dude, bro.
I want to look it up and tell y'all how much money this kid made.
I think he had $25 million from CNN.
Yeah, I think it was like $25 million from CNN
Wow.
for defamation.
He literally sued them for what he could have potentially made in his lifetime. He could have made $250 million maybe doing something. Who knows? He fucking went to town.
Good for him.
All right, Connor. Who was the hardest pitcher you ever had to play against?
Man.
And tell us, please, how many times did y'all beat LSU in one season? Wasn't it 3? We went 3-0 against them?
No,
Yeah.
three times in one season.
3.
Mm-mm.
You sure?
So my freshman year, we lost to them at home. Sophomore year, we beat them at their place.
Also, remind the folks where you played.
Played at UL.
Go Cajuns, baby.
Go Cajuns, baby. Grew up diehard LSU fan, so that was a transition for sure.
You came back home.
Came back home and Cajun, baby, the Peppers.
What years did you play?
12 to 16.
So you were part of the
I was part, yeah.
the
team.
when
The 14 team. Yep. Man,
is that Ole
heartbreak.
Miss?
Yes, heartbreak. Won first game.
when,
At home.
when Christian Trent threw the game of his life against y'all.
Yes.
St. Paul's guy.
Yes. So we won the first game.
Yep.
Very easily. So we're like, man, we got it. Omaha, one win away. And Ole Miss has some vengeance for sure. I mean, they slapped us 2 games in a row. First time all season we lost 2 games in a row.
Didn't y'all almost have that second game?
Almost did. It was so
Yeah, break it down.
Carson Baronick started that game, and it was tight. I think it was either 1-1 or 2-1, and it was like I think he was going to the 6th inning, and I think he walked like the first 2 guys, and they pulled him. Right whenever they pulled him, I said the game's over. The game's over because that year we relied on just a few guys in the bullpen, and outside of those guys, didn't have much experience, and I was one of them. I was a starter for a few games during the year, and then came out the bullpen a few, and then kind of just didn't see anything after that. And I knew once we pulled Carson, the game was over because he was going to have to rely on some guys in the bullpen that either weren't rested enough or, didn't have the experience. And I think that's what cost us the game was pulling Carson too early.
So what is the whenever you're standing in that box, all right, and you see guys throwing 90, upper 90s, what's going through your thought process if that ball is coming inside?
Get the hell out the way. I mean, but you don't have no reaction time.
You saw Chase get hit Yeah.
Yep. So that's the hardest thing. I've always said a pitcher that has no control is the hardest pitcher to face, hands down, because you know if the ball is going to come at your head. You don't know if it's going to go right on the middle, if it's going to go 5 feet above the catcher's head. That, in my opinion, so the hardest pitcher that I've ever faced was in high school, actually. It was a guy named Connor Smith. He played at Lafayette High. He's 2 years older than us, and he threw low 90s. But you didn't know where the hell the ball was going to go. So you get into the box. Yeah, there might be a guy that's throwing 100 miles an hour, but if he's consistent around the zone, you know it's going to be around the zone. So you just have to swing early. You know, your reaction has to be a lot sooner than it normally would. But a guy that doesn't know where the hell the ball's going to go, you get in the box and you're shaking. Like, literally, you're like, fuck, what do I do? Like, do I stand further away from the plate? I don't want to get hit by something, whether it's 80 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour. It's going to hurt. So that, in my opinion, is the hardest pitcher to face, is someone that doesn't have a control of their fastball. Because you might get a ball that comes towards you. Next ball might be straight down the middle. You're like, damn, I mean, this dude's all over the place. I don't know what to expect. That is the hardest pitcher to face.
All right, so let me ask you this part, the Astros scandal. Okay? So before you answer that, let me tell you, if I'm an MLB pitcher that faced them and lost the opportunity to go to the World Series or in the World Series, I am throwing up and in every fucking at bat. The MLB did it to them.
Yep.
What do
My
you
thing
think?
on the scandal, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
You can steal signs.
Look,
Yeah, you can
yes,
steal
you
signs.
can steal signs, but once you get video and phones involved, that's a no-go.
Bingo.
I mean, that is where's the fun in the game?
Did Altuve have the buzzer?
Yes.
Yes, and also they were making noises in the dugout. Certain noises hidden.
Was it the banging of the trash
the
cans?
banging of the trash cans, hitting the water coolers, whatever it was. That just takes the fun out of the game. Look,
Steal signs.
I'm telling you, we were in the Little League World Series, okay?
I remember that.
We're stealing signs from second base. So, obviously, you just look at the catcher, see what's coming up. We hold up sign. We actually got caught doing it. And the ESPN reporters were talking about it, saying, oh, they're cheating. Anybody can do it. There's no rules in the rule book saying you can't steal signs and relay them to the batter without the other team knowing. Where is it in the rule book? It's not. I mean, it's a part of the game. Now, once you start putting video and phones and technology in, that's a whole game changer. You know,
Yeah, and the MLB could have got ahead of it.
they could have.
And the Astros could have saved themselves a lot of time by not giving half-ass apologies because Altuve stole the MVP from Judge.
Yep.
And Mike Trout, the greatest baseball player who's ever lived.
Yep.
That's not true. His name's Oshani Otani.
No.
Oshie Otani.
Yes, he's very good. But in my opinion, the greatest baseball player to ever live was Babe Ruth. I'm a firm believer.
I think
of it.
Mike Trout.
That's such a lame take.
Me?
Yeah,
Dude.
Babe Ruth. I mean,
Babe
yeah, I
Ruth.
get it. Like, yeah, he has this allure to him. You know, he's Babe Ruth. Like, when you think of baseball, like even
Babe Ruth.
the casual observer of baseball knows Babe Ruth.
Or Barry Bonds.
Yeah, easy.
That's like
Easy. I like
Barry
that.
Bonds, okay.
that's like saying John Jones deserves to be the GOAT in the UFC.
Quick
He
story.
is the GOAT in UFC.
Are you shitting me? Are
wait.
you shitting me right now?
Quick story about
Under
Barry
Dustin Poirier.
Bonds. Quick story about Barry
Two
Bonds.
guys who did PEDs.
Yes. Okay, PEDs. I mean, who didn't do it back then? You know, and they still do it now. It's just who gets caught.
We're talking about a combat sport. And you're doing PEDs though.
True. Okay, quick story about Barry Bonds since we're on that. I know, I don't know how I know, or I guess he may have come talk to us at UL, but this guy that coached Barry Bonds, he said Barry Bonds, literally his pregame warm-ups were him sleeping in the dugout. So this is one game, I think it's playoffs, and he's taking a nap in the dugout, and they're taking BP, and they go up to Bonds, hey, Bonds, you're up. Wakes up from out of a sleep, goes take 2 rounds of batting practice, every single ball you hit, out the park. Every single one. Dude woke up from a nap.
MVP.
In BP.
Must be good.
Every
With,
single-
must be easy with steroids.
Look, in my opinion, when it comes to Barry Bonds, steroids are not steroids. The
He
dude
deserves-
was a
he des-
fucking
no,
monster.
Hey, I will agree. Because before the steroid scandal, he had the
Yes.
stats to be in the Hall
Yes.
of Fame.
Yes, and he also stole like I don't know how many bags a year. He used to be the fastest player in the MLB before steroids.
So
you look at him with the
pre-steroid Barry
Pirates. The Pirates. When he played for the Pirates, he stole like I think it was 60, 70 bags a year.
I don't know. Henry Rowan struck
Skinny
him out.
Barry.
Skinny Barry was a stud.
Henry Rowan Gardner struck him out, man.
True, but also probably you don't know this.
Excuse me.
Barry Bonds used a 30-inch bat, 29 or 30-inch bat.
What's the standard?
Most guys probably use 34, 35s. I mean, he was a huge guy too. Like I'm wrong. I think it was in the 20s. It was either 28 or 29-inch bat. In college, typical 33 to 34. You talking about like that 5 to 6 inches of barrel you're missing, and he hit how many 762 home runs with a 28-inch bat.
762s, right?
762. Yeah,
Yeah.
he holds the record.
So I got another question to ask you. But before that, I read a meme that you're going to appreciate.
So,
It said, if you ever were playing third base and you saw somebody walk up with that orange catalyst.
no, the orange stealth.
Is it orange stealth?
Orange
but
stealth.
I like the orange catalyst.
Yes, that too.
You were playing a game of Russian roulette.
I'm in the outfield for that. I'm not standing in the dirt. I mean, dude, can you imagine if MLB players had aluminum in their hand?
Remember that Mark McGwire bat? Dude. Oh, the
Yes.
aluminum one that you could fucking smoke a ball.
Dude, it's crazy. Speaking of baseball right now, I know I asked you about the Little League World Series, but I want to get on that topic because yesterday I was watching it and went back to, some pictures, articles of whenever I played, and it's going on. What are we now?
You're 28, I'm 27.
I'm 28, so I played in 05, so that would be, 17 years ago?
Yeah.
Give or take. 17 years ago I played in it, and, dude, that was an experience right there.
And y'all had all the same guys that went to UL.
So, yeah, we had at UL it was me, Bryn, Alex Stringer played for a little short period, Jace, and that was it. And then Andrew Stevenson was at LSU. But believe it or not, every single one of those guys from that team went play a collegiate sport somewhere, whether it was a semester or 4 years. Every single one played a collegiate sport from that team.
Studs.
I mean, whether it was one was a pole vaulter at LSU. His brother now is breaking records left and right.
Antoine.
Andreas Duplantis. That's the oldest. That's the one I played with.
They played LSU.
Yeah. So whether it was football, pole vaulting, soccer, baseball, you name it. I mean,
All right, so if you were playing in the Little League right now and how it's produced on ESPN and whatnot, you see all like these player profiles and they have like their favorite celebrity, and
Yeah.
sometimes there's some trolls. Like I seen like Johnny Sins is
yeah,
like
we did that actually.
yeah. So like what? what?
Dude, that was awesome. So we get a questionnaire when we get there, and we have to fill out everything. And we didn't do any like really trolls back then, because it wasn't really thought of.
No.
But funny story. So I'm watching a regional game, and one of the players says favorite actress was Alexis Texas. 12-year-old Alexis Texas. And they were like, whoever did this is getting fired for sure. Alexis. How does he know about Alexis Texas at 12?
I don't know, man.
Phones these days.
Do you think it's like an older brother who is like
Gotta
helping
be
fill out?
an older brother, an
Oh,
uncle or
yeah.
something that's like, hey, please put this. But funny story about the Little League World Series. So game one, I get the game-winning hit. And after I'm interviewed on ESPN, shit in my pants. But so one of the players,
We can like cut in that interview in the
yeah,
middle of this episode.
I'm going to go back and find it.
so they told me, Connor Toups, man, a few words. Literally, they asked me a question, one answer. I don't know what the hell to say. I'm 11 at the time. So there's 3 11-year-olds. The rest are 12. Me, Bryn, and Andrew are 11.
You got a giant-ass camera in your face.
Giant-ass camera. I'm still, like, on a head high from winning the game. Just still don't know what the hell just happened.
You're a kid.
Literally, 11 years old. I'm like, shit, I just won the fucking game. Literally, I just won the game. And they're like, yeah, Connor, take 5. ESPN rolling. Interview. I'm like, what? I mean, I grew up watching ESPN, seeing these dudes talking. I'm about to talk? 11? Why? Why me? Right. So, where am I going with that? I was going somewhere with it. I don't know.
I was about to ask you how Robe was able to handle all those personalities in one damn locker room.
Dude, the 14 team, the locker room was crazy.
The beards, man.
Veer the beard. So you know what it was. So Robe was huge into clean cut shave,
Yankee
no long
style.
hair, Yankee style. Well, I think we're like maybe first or second road series, and we're just whipping ass every weekend. And we had lost the game. It was a Sunday game, and Robe's talking to us, and Jace Conrad was like, "Hey, coach, because everyone wants to grow beards. I mean, we'd have to shave. He'd be on our ass about it. He's like, Coach, I have a deal to make with you. We grow our facial hair if we don't lose back-to-back games. The second we do, we shave." Coach Robe was like, "All right, bet. Let's do it." I mean, thinking that we're probably going to do it eventually. It didn't happen until Ole Miss series. So we grew out the beards. I mean, they had KHTC come talk to us about that. We had shirts when we got to the regionals that said "Fear the Beard," everything. I mean,
They were handing out the beards. Dude, that was the first
Dude,
time I ever saw
great.
myself with a full beard, just having one of those beards right there. And I
Dude,
said,
the locker room, I
"Fucking
mean,
A."
he had his hands full with us. I mean, there was a lot of alpha attitudes and personalities. I mean, you had Mike Strentz, Caleb Adams, Jace Conrad. I mean, you had some dudes that were some hard asses. And funny story, this is so we always had fall competitions, and we were divided into two teams, and that's how we competed, like all semester, all fall, like whether it was workouts or games or in school, like GPAs, and whoever won at the end, it was called the Omaha Cup, and you win that, and we go to like our Christmas break, like party, and the winners get steak, and then the losers have to serve them the steak and then eat red beans and rice for it. So I mean,
red beans and rice, pretty good.
I hate it. So, but this is right when spring starts, and we go through some competitions before we start inter squads and then the games. Well, Mike Strentz and Caleb Adams are fighting about a relay race that we're having. So it's like a relay race with two teams, and one team had to run, like one guy had to run twice because it was a odd number. And Mike and Caleb were fighting about who was going to run. Well, they break out into a fist fight. Literally on the field. Coach Robe comes trying to break him up. Mike tries fighting Coach Robe. And he has a talk with us after, and he's like, "Look, I understand the personality on this team. This is the craziest, like, most alpha male personality I've ever been a part of. But y'all can't be fighting each other and fighting me. Like, fight the other team if y'all have to. I'm bad. Y'all break out into a bench brawl, I'm right after y'all. Like, fight the other team." But I mean, I'm telling you, dude, that team was crazy. Like,
So what's one thing that you could say that you learned? Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
What's one thing that you can say that you learned that Coach Robe taught you that is the biggest life lesson you probably learned from
There's
him?
not one thing. There's not. I mean, he changed me as a person. And I can say that for hundreds of people. I mean, I went there as a kid. Literally, like, I was immature about so much, just about life. And I think the main thing that I take from him was it's not about baseball. I mean, baseball is one part of your life. There's so many athletes these days that define themselves as an athlete. You ask them, "What do you do?" "I'm an athlete." Okay, well, who are you outside of that? Like, that's not who you are as a person. That's what you do. Like, I think that was the main thing I took was after baseball, you have to figure out who the hell you are. Like, you're not going to be a baseball player when you're 50 and 60 years old with a family. Like, figure out who the hell you are and stick to that, not stick to what you do. And I think that was, like, mainly the thing that I took from him was after baseball, who are you? What do you stand for? What kind of man are you?
So what does Connor Toups stand for?
Man, that's a hard question. That's probably one of the hardest questions. I stand for loyalty, honesty, and respect. I mean, I'm big into loyalty.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's right. I mean, loyalty goes the farthest with me. Like, you're loyal to me. I'll give the last shirt I have for someone that will do the same for me. Like, you know, I have many friends. There might be friends or acquaintances, whatever you want to call it, but my circle's tight because of that. Like, a lot of people are fake these days, but I'm big into loyalty, and you got me, I got you, no matter what, through thick and thin.
So we've heard a lot about, and you gave a great example of Robe just being a motivator of men. That's everything we've heard about Robe is just this amazing person to let you know that baseball is not the end all be all. You got to be a good man first. But no one's really talked about his, I guess, the X's and O's. What made Robe a good baseball coach?
That's a good question.
That's a great question. He was a great pitching coach. He knew his pitching, which it's hard to be a good pitching coach. It really is, because when you think about it, it's different teaching someone how to hit and, you know, the ins and outs of hitting and what to do at the plate. But, like, pitching is like your own style. You know, you do what you do that fits you. You can tweak things with hitting and, you know, just your patience and this and that. But pitching it's more like mental and more of like what works for you the best. And he just always like knew what to say, what to like critique about you. But as far as the X's and O's, I don't think he relied on the X's and O's for coaching. I think he relied on his assistants to do that for him. And he was more of a motivator and more of for us to see the big picture and to see things outside of the X's and O's.
A CEO.
CEO. I see him, or I saw him as like the president of the team.
So
right?
a submarine pitcher, why is it that they look so easy to hit off of? Because they're coming up. They're coming.
I guess because it's slower.
They're coming from underneath.
Well, real quick, Scotty, explain what a submarine.
A submarine pitcher, a pitcher coming instead of going over the top, it's coming underneath.
Yes.
So the ball looks like it's coming up every time.
I played with two guys, actually, that were submarine pitchers. One of them called him Submarine Martin, and another guy, Colton. Colton
what?
know.
Sorry, Colton.
Sorry, Colton, but brain
No
fart
free
right now.
ads.
Couple beers.
Colton's literally fingers would scrape the ground when he would throw.
You get some
That's
dirt.
how low he would throw. And I think because it's slower than most guys and because it's got more of movement, like going up than down in the strike zone, it looks easier and slower to hit, but it's a lot harder. I mean, just the delivery of it is can't even like pick it up. You can't. It's hard.
So I got a funny story about Coach Robe that I heard from a source I'll tell you after the show. But so we're in KA. Well, we're the biggest supporters out of any fraternity for the baseball team.
Right.
But somehow we just didn't get along, us in the baseball team, for some reason. So my little brother in the fraternity, your kid, ended up they ended up getting in a fight at the keg.
The keg.
So I heard, from what my boy told me, he said, dude, Robe came into the locker room and he said, if I catch y'all messing around those damn KAs one more time, you're all losing your scholarships.
Yeah, he knew that we were doing some stuff. I mean, he coached for 30-plus years. He was around college kids every day of his life for 30 years. I mean, he knows we're going to do stuff, but that's one thing he didn't want us to mess around with was fraternities. I don't know why. He was just against it. And I was actually on the team for that when it happened.
He knew.
Yeah, he knew. He knew y'all were up to something.
Hey, look, I just got pie-eyed and I tailgated.
And I think that's the main thing was there's a persona of fraternities and sororities that they're big partiers, frat parties, sorority parties, whatever. And I think he just didn't want us to be around that because his main thing was us not drinking and driving because you get a DUI, you're kicked off the team from that day for a full year. 365 days, you're gone.
So what's the process of, I guess, getting kicked off the team and losing your scholarship? How does that go?
So, speaking of one of the submarine guys, he actually, when I was playing, got a DUI, Colton, sorry. You know, and he was on scholarship. I'm not sure what happened about his scholarship, but he did his full year, came back and played again. And, I mean, it's not like he was going to look at you as a different person and, you know, judge you or anything. It's just, that's my rule. It is what it is. Take it or leave it, you know. And if I had to guess, he probably did lose his scholarship, you know, just because he wasn't committed to the team and the program and doing what he needed to do. So he probably did lose it, if I had to guess, but I'm not sure about that.
One thing I've noticed is with baseball players, it's y'all really are a really tight-knit group of people. And it is one about the LSU with Kramer Robertson and all them. The thing that I loved about UL's baseball team, because not only did I know a bunch of y'all regardless, and I mean, I still went party with y'all regardless of everything that happened exterior-wise, but they said that UL and LSU, two completely different personalities when it came down to those teams.
Yeah.
And you probably know a bunch of those LSU guys, so probably, I don't want to put you on the spot and say it, but what is it? Is it you think it's more of the confidence that it takes and all the attention that women, especially women, give baseball players? Do you think that has a big part in how this level of swagger that each person has on their carries on?
Well, LSU and UL is, I mean, completely different. I mean, you're talking about a university that is on the map 24/7.
We're on the damn map too.
We are, but I mean,
But LSU has the most attendance for years and
you're
years.
talking about UL.
Multiple national championships in the 90s, one in
Fuck
2009.
Right. I mean, look,
It's a different culture.
LSU's got 45,000 students compared to UL's at 17, 18,000. And LSU's just on the map for so much more. I mean, everyone knows about LSU. No one really knows about UL unless you're from the area or know someone that knows someone.
Wearing an LSU shirt to the game don't get you a free UL shirt.
That's right. But I think it's more of that. And the guys at LSU, if you're an athlete, you are looked at so more differently than at UL. I was a baseball player for 4 years, and if I'm walking down Rex Street or walking into a library, they don't know I'm a baseball player. Maybe by the shirt I'm wearing, if it's UL baseball shirt. But you're an athlete at LSU, and you're walking, everyone knows you're an athlete. It's just a known thing. So you get more privileges. You get – the girls are literally after you. Cleat chasers, that's what they call them, cleat chasers. And they're all over you. It's just the persona at bigger universities compared to smaller of athletes. They're worshipped. And at UL, they're not. I mean, yeah, maybe the football players in a way, that's their sport. But at LSU, Texas, USC, those kind of schools, you're worshipped.
Well, so in your time, was there a player, whatever sport it was, that kind of transcended that for UL that people knew? Maybe Jace?
Yeah, I would say Jace or, Austin, Coach Robe's son, or Strentz.
Trahan.
Blake Trahan. But, I mean, there's a few
Don't worry about
that
it.
they knew who it was just because of the media, just whatever it was. But, I mean, you're talking about LSU that you might be dressed in a suit and you're walking down into the quad and they know you're an athlete.
You know who Blake Trahan reminds me a little bit of? Nate Diaz.
Man, Blake, I grew up playing with Blake. That dude is a stud.
It makes me think of a gangster.
When I tell you, when it comes to swagger, you look up swagger in the dictionary and his face is next to it.
But I love you, Strentz.
Strentz is a freaking badass. You see what he's doing freaking CrossFit now.
Dude, Strentz was a senior my freshman year of high school. The dude was God.
Oh, I mean, he was God at UL too. I mean, he was – I'm telling you, to this day, I'll put Strentz up in a fight against, like, anybody. Maybe not, like, professional fighters that know what they're doing critique-wise, but put him up against anybody.
Oh, that's the thing about – we talked about this the other day, where we're from. Our schools are in high school right across from each other. Como, I loved Como, every single bit of it, because we all got along.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if somebody fear the
fin.
Yeah. Fucking A. But if somebody had a problem with somebody, Boye
Boye Park, baby.
Boye right after. And here's the thing, it didn't matter what school you came from, Where it was, how many people were there? It was a one-on-one fight.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing right now, Scotty. I'm wearing a Southside shirt. You said earlier you went to Como.
Yeah.
Had that split happened while you were in high school, do you think you would have gone?
I would have been zoned for Southside.
Would you have picked Southside over Como? Say you have a year or two in your belt at Como.
It would depend on what my teammates were doing.
Well, Malik Neighbors switched from Como to Southside and had his whole senior year wiped from LHSAA. Still, now he's about to be a stud at LSU receiver.
I'll tell you one thing that we found out. So our parents were all on the quarterback club. We found out some information right after we graduated, which led to ultimately a change in things. None of our film was sent out to coaches that requested it. None of our letters that came in were delivered to our lockers. Nothing. We had no representation whatsoever.
Wow.
That makes sense. That makes sense why people wanted to leave Como and go to Southside as far as athletes go.
The culture, wrestling is the culture. Wrestling and basketball were, and I wrestled at Como too. Wrestling, whenever you had wrestling practice, we are, so it didn't make sense because we came from a Youngsville team. Our 7th grade year, we played Cathedral and Fatima as warm-up games. We had Fuquay, Jordan,
K9, baby.
Fuquay, Jahari, Jordan Murray, and that was the first time that we had a team assembled together and played y'all fucking to the T. Like I think it was.
Dude, that was the biggest competition was y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, we played y'all 8th grade football, and literally before the game, like our coach was like, "Look, this is gonna be the best competition you'll face this year. That's why I scheduled it for y'all. Fatima's Fatima, but y'all play Youngsville Middle. Them dudes are some dudes.
Dude, we literally we played together at BYYA, but you took a bunch of kids who literally we grew up playing that smash mouth in the field.
Literally, dude, y'all football team was legit.
So we went 5-2. That was the first time Youngsville ever won more than 3 games in the season.
Who'd y'all lose to?
We lost to Scott, and then we lost to Acadian. So
what was Scott just like a feeder team for Acadiana? Yeah.
So then we get to our 8th grade year. All right, our 8th grade year, the first game we schedule, Anderson Middle, New Iberia.
Yep, dude, there was some that's Westgate feeder.
Yeah, Anderson Middle, and right after them, Iberia.
Damn,
we beat them both. We get to district play. The only team we didn't beat by double digits was Acadian Middle.
What's that a feeder into?
It was Northside.
Northside.
That was the only team we didn't beat by double digits. We went to a Scott when they have Claude George, Big Miles, fucking Chad Harris, who's the best offensive lineman I've ever seen in my life. The only reason he's not in the NFL because he had too much creatine in his body. His body produced that much muscles, dude, to where he had caught too many cramps. He couldn't go.
Wow.
So you played O-line?
I was 180. So I was 180 pounds playing left guard in a wing T offense at 5A.
Okay.
In that district.
Answer me this: what makes Acadiana's offense?
They feed into it. We beat Scott Middle with all those guys 56-8 in the parish championship. So we get to Como. First game we have is against Northside freshman year. We're running a power I. Okay, we could run that in middle school. Como, we don't have big people. We have all the athletes in the world, not big guys. The first game against Northside is the first time I've lost a game in God knows how long.
Wow.
So we're sitting there. We get on the bus. The first thing I hear, "Hey, Youngsville kids, how's it feel to lose?" That's when I said to myself, "Oh fuck!" I said, "This ain't gonna be good." Hey, if that's gonna be how we're gonna go about things, we were so talented, man, and that's where it stung so much for me, because we went to Acadiana our senior year. And we're beating them 20-0 at halftime. Once that wing T sets in, I'll never blame anything. Acadiana is the hardest place to win ever. I don't care where you say that's the hardest fucking. No, it's harder to win at Acadiana.
The ramp, baby.
But what I'll say is that the culture around Como was we went into there thinking that okay, everybody's gonna be able to come together. We didn't have that culture. We didn't develop that culture. We switched offenses 2 weeks before the season started. Told wing T, you can't do that.
No.
It takes a long time. The feeder schools like Acadiana, like STM, like Turlings, they start these kids running that same offense in 5th, 6th grade. They are running these plays like that. John Curtis, all these successful schools.
Knowing that I'm going to send my kid to this school.
Yes. You start that early on. But here, given, I'm not going to allow that to be an excuse because there's a way to combat it. Acadiana, technically that veer, the offensive line, you have to be set for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
They're not, right?
They're not.
Yeah.
So think about it this way. You're fucking firing down. You're jousting out and hitting that guy. That veer is the fucking fastest thing to fucking see.
So like standing where you are.
I play D-tackle against
explain for the viewers like what that 1 second is.
So my sophomore year, I started at D-tackle. All right, because I gained 110 pounds in 3 months taking pro hormones.
Fat boy.
How much?
I caught a thyroid disease from taking pro hormones. I was 150 my freshman year of high school. Sophomore year, I was 260.
All right, what year did you start drinking?
Junior year.
Senior for me.
So dude, like I was taking pro hormones because I went to a combine, national underclassmen combine at STM, and Andre Huval, I got 3rd place in the offensive line tag. I lost to 2 guys that were 6'5", 6'6", and I didn't lose a 1-on-1 battle on the inside.
But explain to the viewers what that, as an offensive lineman, that line that Acadiana has, that veer.
So if you're watching a football game, and you see the offensive linemen, they come up, and a lot of nowadays they're standing up. They're not even getting down in the stance. But the moment the quarterback goes, traditionally, he go down. He paused and he said, "Set hut." So their linemen are down like this, and they go, "Set hut," and then they jump. You have to be set for 1 second, but whenever you're doing that as an offensive lineman, say I'm playing the interior defensive line position, which means your center's right here, your offensive guard is right here. So I'm right in between them. If you say set hut and both these guys fire out at the same time, that veer is running literally right off that guard's ass. And that linebacker, so after that guard hits me, that center is going to take me with him. That guard's going to chip off me, hit the linebacker. All it takes is two people to hit to get out the way to make that veer work. And it runs at you so fast that you don't know who has the ball because they're in a T-bone, almost like a wishbone formation. So you have these 2 guys on the outside. All the quarterback's doing is putting the ball right there. He's taking the snap.
Yeah, just hut, boom,
putting it down.
Yeah,
take off when that hole is going to be there. If that hole is going to be there. Now, where you can counter it, though, where you counter that veer, and it's risky if they have a good quarterback. You start running that play action, that can be a little iffy, but a lot of teams, Louisiana still down south, hasn't adapted to the spread offense style. It's still run at you. We're going to be more of a man than
Southside tried when they first started doing a spread offense. And then last year, I believe, they switched to what Josh Fontenot, the head coach at Southside, refers to as the spread bone.
And shout out to Ben Como, defensive coordinator.
Yeah, man.
But we'll say this. We can end on this. What I will say about Southside is look at what happens when you take – now, I will always – man, I've been dreading saying this, but since we're on the topic, we're going to be honest. Look what happens when you take all these Youngsville and Broussard kids in 1 year and throw them into 5A. With an actual plan in motion. Look at what happens whenever you do that.
Yep. So while we're on the topic of high school sports,
we got to wrap up.
There you're good.
We're good. We're good. Go ahead, man.
Let's end on this. What is y'all take on the high school playoff system, as far as Catholic and public school?
Well, select versus non-select.
I don't like how people say we were a better team that year. We made it to the playoffs, motherfucker. Who'd you play?
Well,
Dude,
right. Well, Connor, where'd you go to high school?
I went to STM.
Okay, so you went to a Catholic school. So did I.
That was our homecoming game, dude. That was our homecoming
game.
So
I hate it. Like before you go in, my whole district and in Covington, every single school is a public school except for St. Paul's, and so we're playing this district season the entire year, all sports. But when it comes to playoffs, we're separate.
Yeah, I mean, look,
that's weird.
I grew up around STM sports. My older siblings went there. I saw baseball, basketball, football. I saw some teams at STM from 2000 to when I graduated that will run circles around the state champion teams at STM. Look, no, hard feelings of the 3 state championships they have, but they can't hold a candle to some of those teams that we were involved with, that I went to school with, and before that, my brother. I mean, he had guys that went on to play at UL, LSU, Northwestern. I mean, that would crush.
That 2009 team.
Dude, I mean, yeah, the 2000.
Beckwith.
Yep, and 2011 team that we lost to Acadiana. We beat them 42
to 7.
40, yeah, at home.
42 to dude.
We play them again in the semifinals to go to the Dome, and there's probably 10, 15,000 people there. Easy. There's barricades around the track. I mean, I don't agree with it. I think it was a sympathy vote for all the Catholic schools. Yes, I went to a Catholic school, but I think it was a sympathy vote for them to be able to compete. Because they couldn't compete against the public schools.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have John Curtis, who was a monster.
Yeah. But John Curtis was not doing things right. They were a 2A school playing in 5A. Yes, they did that because
LCA now.
LCA now, yeah.
They wanted to do that because they wanted competition.
LCA is taking advantage of this system.
Yes. And I think STM's moving into Division 1 this year, which that's going to be a huge jump for them. I mean, yes, they might have won. I mean, look.
Real quick, Connor, explain the divisions.
So it's Division 1, 2, 3, and 4. It goes from 4.
So it's no longer 5A, 4A, 3.
No, 5A is public schools.
Public schools is 1 or class B, C, and then 1 through 5A. And then the Catholic schools, or however you want to call it now. Select is divisions 1 through 4. 4 is the lower attendance schools, less people they have on their roster and everything. It's pretty much 1 through 4A, if you want to call it that way. The higher you go in numbers, the more competition and attendance they have in the school. The Division 1 schools have the most attendance in the state. Division 4 are going to have the least.
Your Division 1 schools being Rummel, St. Paul's, Brother Mark.
Yes.
But one thing I will say, you said you thought it might be better for the public schools. Let me tell you something.
No,
it might be better for the private schools.
Yeah.
It's better for the public schools.
Why is that?
Because Como, we got in trouble for Hayward and Julian going into the School of Arts.
True that.
I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. I mean, you can't recruit. But one thing I will say is, look. So the split itself, I'm glad. As much shit as I give STM, now what the diocese is doing with the gender pronouns, I am a fan of STM.
Yeah.
So, and I love Coach Danny Broussard more than life itself.
Same here.
He spoke at my dad's service. I love you, Coach Danny.
Yes, Danny's the man.
I am happy to see Coach Hightower get his ring.
He deserves it.
But I agree. STM is still if they're still not split, they don't get that ring.
No, they don't have. They have 0.
So, but
you put them in that category in 2000, they probably win every single year.
But let me say this about 2013. We went to Barb. So a team from our district made to the state championship for the past 13 years. Every year we beat Dutchtown. In my first playoff game, we beat Dutchtown with Eric Reed, Eddie Lacy, and Landon Collins on the same team.
Wow.
On the field. 17-7 over there, the nicest high school football stadium I've ever seen. I will say about this. 2013, thank God we didn't go to Rummel because Barb smashed everybody.
Was that when Trey Quinn was there?
Yeah, Trey Quinn,
Deshaun, Gunner
Leger, Kenan Fontenot.
But me and 3 of my buddies drove to New Orleans. We went go watch Barb, who smashed almost every single team they play Rummel.
And got crushed.
You remember that scene in Friday Night Lights whenever a team's walking, Dallas Carter's walking out of the dome?
Dude, the best
scene a Division I college football team walking out of there?
That was them.
That was a Division I college fucking football team. They were beating us by 11 points with a minute and a half left to go in basketball, too, at their place. We came back, went to the top 28 the year they moved it out of the fucking Cajun Dome.
Such horseshit.
Bullshit. But anyway, all right, folks, look.
Carter, I'll say this, guy. Let's end it on this. I'll go back and forth between you two. I want you both to predict a win or a loss for the upcoming UL football schedule. We're right close to football season. We're coming up.
Can we do UL and LSU?
Sure.
Yes,
Let's do it.
All right. So let's
do it.
all right. Let's go LSU and with UL.
Okay.
We're Acadiana.
Let's start with those.
Now, while I search this, what are your initial thoughts on LSU?
My initial thoughts.
Fuck them.
I'll go first.
Go
Look,
Jack.
I'm back and forth. Love Jack Besh and Tiger. It's my boy.
Go Jack.
Malik Neighbors.
LSU's got a squad. They do. Whoever wins,
They're always going to have a squad.
always. Whoever wins the QB battle out of Nussmeier and Daniels, they're going to be in great hands. I think they might both play. They'd be smart to both play them.
Yeah.
Because you don't want one or the other to leave. Which next topic or next show that we talk, we're going to have to talk. Transfer portal.
You want to know what my initial summary of LSU football is?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because Bryce Young's in their division.
There it is. Well, Jaden Young is a junior. Nussmeier is a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
So Daniels, if he succeeds, could have 2 years. Also, you have to remember Walker Howard from SCM,
Which is a stud.
Is a stud, and he's waiting in the wings. He's not going to play this year.
No, he's going to redshirt.
Yeah, we know that.
Which he needs to.
But between Nussmeier and Daniels,
you see how he says we?
I'm scared that Daniels gets the
I'm sorry.
job.
I love LSU.
I'm scared Daniels gets the job and Nussmeier's transfers.
I don't think he transfers.
Do you think he waits it out? What?
Yeah,
he's got Walker behind him.
That's true. I don't know. I don't know.
It's a great thing for LSU.
It all depends on who they, I guess, start week one. Maybe the starter week one isn't the starter week 3.
It's true. Very true. I see them losing.
Well, so
2 or 3 games.
All right, let's go here. We'll go. I'll switch back and forth. We'll start with Connor and we'll go Scott. T. All right, Connor. LSU week 1, Florida State.
Win by 10.
All right, Scotty.
Win by 7.
All right. The game that has been the most sold out by far, Southern at LSU.
Win by 30.
Southern by 2.
So by a safety.
The band's gonna
That's
take
how
it
they
over.
win the game, a safety.
Yeah.
Love it. It's great.
All right.
I got you, Southern. I got you back.
Mississippi State.
Win by 3.
Okay, so 3-0. Scotty.
Hell State by 5.
All right, so LSU is 1-2 for Scotty.
Damn.
Connor, New Mexico.
Win by 2 TDs. 14.
I think so too. Scotty.
Win by 30.
All right, here's where it gets really interesting. Auburn, first SEC game.
Where is it?
At Auburn.
At Auburn. That's a tough one. Auburn's always a toss-up every year, but I say LSU by 4.
So you have them at, was it
4-0.
4-0?
4-0.
Oh, well, that'd be 5-0.
5-0.
I got Auburn by a field goal.
Okay, LSU just keeps losing for Scotty. All right, next week, Tennessee at LSU.
This, in my opinion, is the toughest one on the schedule to pick. Tennessee is going to be a lot better than most people think this year. I have Tennessee by 7.
Ooh.
I do. I think LSU is going to go into the game underestimating them, and they lose.
LSU by 10.
Okay. All right, so you have them at 5-1. You have LSU at 2-4.
With Southern being a toss-up.
Southern by safety.
All right, next game, LSU at Florida. Billy Napier. Rebuild. Also, LSU's
Yes.
rebuilding.
Which Florida's quarterback's going to be a stud this year.
Who is it?
Don't know, but I know he's a stud.
All right.
I have LSU by 5.
Okay.
Florida by 14. AR-15 is his name, but he changed his name because he didn't want to be associated with AR-15.
So you have LSU at 2-5.
Yeah.
With a loss to Southern with a safety.
Jack
Yeah.
Besh being the number 1 tight end in America.
Well, no, he's a
Tight
receiver.
end slash
He's
slot.
not a tight. Yeah, he's a slot guy this year. Like
He's a fucking freak of nature, dude. He's awesome.
Freak.
I was there for his first touchdown. My first LSU game was Jack's first touchdown catch. I never met the kid, but I felt like there was a spark there.
And you know what?
Dude's a
I
stud.
give all credit to Tiger. He learned
Tiger's
from
a
Tiger.
fucking awesome dude.
Love Tiger. Love
That's
you,
a-
brother. Hope to
that's-
see you soon.
That's a great family in general.
Love him.
All right, next game. Ole Miss at LSU.
Hotty toddy.
LSU by 10.
Hotty toddy, baby. 3 points.
Ole Piss.
All right, so what are y'all's records so far?
I think mine's 6 or 7-1, and he's 2-6.
Yeah. Okay, this one seems like an L. Alabama at LSU.
It's probably gonna be College Game Day.
Depending how well LSU's doing at that point.
Correct. I see it closer than most people will expect. It's always a close game unless LSU just shits the bed. But I say Bama by a field goal.
All right, so you have 2 losses for LSU.
2 losses.
Scotty,
Bama by 17.
another loss for LSU.
17. That's steep.
You got
All
the
right.
best offensive player in the country and the best defensive player in the country. And your
Who's the
defense-
best offensive quarterback?
Bryce Young. The best player in the country is Will Anderson.
All right, Scotty, so to recap, you have LSU losing to Florida State, Southern.
No, I picked LSU over at Florida State.
Okay,
Yeah.
but they lost to Southern.
Yeah, they did by 2.
By safety.
By
And
60.
Mississippi State, what are you?
Hail
Cal
State.
State.
Okay.
I think he said by 17.
You haven't beaten New Mexico. You have them losing to Auburn.
Yep.
You have them losing to Tennessee or
No,
winning.
winning.
Winning Tennessee. And then losing to Florida.
Yep.
All right. And losing to Ole Miss.
Yep.
Okay. Next.
And Alabama.
And then Bama.
Yep.
All right. Next game, LSU at Arkansas.
LSU by 7.
Arkansas by 10.
This dude is skull dragging LSU.
UAB at LSU.
LSU by 21.
LSU by 30.
Final game of the year. What's turning to be a really good rivalry at A&M.
At A&M. A&M by 10.
A&M by 21.
So your final record for LSU,
9-3.
9-3. Scotty,
2-10. Go ahead, 4
maybe
and 10.
3.
4 and 8.
3 and 8. 3-7. All right.
And I see them going, so 9-3 record. I see them, so that would mean they would come out 3rd, maybe 4th in the SEC.
Well, the Outback Bowl.
The Heineke Car Care Bowl. Let's go.
Lending Tree Bowl.
All right. Now for the main course.
Let's go.
UL.
Peppers, baby.
All right.
I know they got Florida State as well on their schedule this year.
Don't.
Last game of the year.
They do.
LSU and UL got
That is true.
the Seminoles.
Road trip.
Well, week
Road
1.
trip, we're going.
Week 1
We're going.
Let's do it.
at UL.
Southeastern. UL by 20.
1-0. Scotty.
Cajuns by 25.
1-0. All right. Next game at home. Eastern Michigan.
UL by 10.
Cajuns by 30.
UL at Rice.
UL field goal.
Cajuns by 35.
Really?
35.
35. So how many points do they score in that game?
At least
42.
35.
42. So 42-7. They
Yep.
win. Great score.
Okay. UL at our biggest rival. Not really rival. It's not.
ULM?
Yeah, it's. Yeah.
It's early.
Is ULM a rival?
I'd say so because
Yeah, they
it's
could- yeah, they got-
in-state.
They got pissed off about us being the University of Louisiana.
Yeah, there's always that. But they really.
So did LSU.
They really
Yep,
can't
every
compete
school.
in most sports against us.
Yeah, fuck y'all.
Sorry, Monroe. Eat
no,
shit.
they can't.
All right, so
they're really in Arkansas.
so that's a win.
Cajuns by 40.
Cajuns by 28.
Woo! All right.
Fuck you, ULM.
After that, South Alabama at Louisiana.
UL by a touchdown.
Cajuns by 45.
And then a new addition to the
Sun
Sun Belt, Louisiana at Marshall.
At Marshall,
At Marshall.
UL by 10.
Cajuns by 50.
Steep.
All right. Next week, Arkansas State at UL.
UL by 2 touchdowns.
Cajuns by 55.
All right.
Steep.
UL at Southern Miss.
It's a tough one.
This one seems like
It's a tough one to pick.
I won't say a trap game,
I think it's a trap game.
but just because I don't know how Southern Miss has done the past few years, but
Is it a Saturday game?
October 27th. Let's see what date that is.
Cajuns by
No,
60.
that's a I don't think that's a Saturday game.
Cajuns by 60.
That is a Thursday.
Man, this one's tough. I'm on the fence.
Cajuns
I'd
by
say-
60.
I'd say Cajuns by 1.
Scotty, you want to repeat that?
28.
Cajuns by 60.
I'd say final score 28-27. Cajuns.
All right. So you have both of you have Cajuns undefeated.
Undefeated.
Scotty, Scotty's opinion, UL is
Going to
leading
the national
leading
championship.
the FBS in
In
points.
points, yards. Defense is off the chain.
Defensive efficiency, everything. Everything.
All right. A team that's given us fits in all sports, especially baseball. Troy at LSU. Jesus. Sorry. I apologize for everybody. At UL.
Tough
Yep.
one.
They upset us in rugby. Cajuns by 65.
Cajuns by a field goal.
Georgia Southern.
Cajuns by 70.
Cajuns by 17.
At Florida State.
Cajuns by 99.
All right. Connor,
That's-
Connor, I want an actual take.
All right, fine.
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to him.
Cajuns by 10.
I don't think Florida State's that good.
Cajuns by 10.
I say if they do lose, it's by a field goal.
Can you imagine the shit talking that's going to happen on social media
If
if LSU loses to Florida State and UL beats them?
I think it's going to be a toss-up game, and it's going to end in either a touchdown or a field goal.
What do you mean?
Either way, but I think Florida State pulls it out by 3.
What do you mean? What happens whenever Scott Davis is right about all these predictions?
By winning
Then you
by
also
65?
then you also win the lottery,
I'm getting a job at ESPN.
and you'll win the lottery because your luck is very.
No, you're under contract. You can't work for ESPN.
Shit. Hey, hold on to that thought, ESPN. Stephen A., I'm coming to you. Don't worry, I promise you. Imagine that. Imagine. Hey, look. Did you really think I was going to bet against the Cajuns at all during this whole segment?
Well, there's one more game. At Texas State.
Cajuns by 80.
Okay.
Cajuns by 3 touchdowns.
So
Cajuns. No, give it realistic. Cajuns by 3 touchdowns. Because we're tired. We've been
That's
running
what
up
I
the
said
score
right
the entire time.
So obviously Scotty has UL just running the fucking
You damn
gambit.
right I do.
Connor, you're a more realistic person. You haven't. You only lost one game,
One game.
maybe to Florida State, but maybe the toss up with Southern Miss.
Yes.
Do you think that puts them into the conference championship again?
Yes.
Do you think Dez has it?
I'm sure it's going to be against either Coastal or App. Depending on where it's at. If it's at UL, it's a win. If it's away, it's a loss.
Fucking playing at App State sucks.
Sucks. But the most beautiful baseball field I've ever played at. It is
App State.
in the mountains.
Hey, have you ever seen Spring? You know what the great thing about Spring Hills? Spring Hills Baseball Stadium is the oldest collegiate baseball stadium in the country.
Really?
Hank Aaron and Babe Ruth played on it. There's no stadium seats. The students sit on top of the dugout.
That's awesome. So, quick thing about App State baseball stadium.
Go Cajuns, baby.
It's in the mountains. So we get there every road series. We get there on Thursday. Practice there to get accustomed to the field. Well, pitchers are always on BP duty. Well, you got a few guys that do home run duty to get all the home runs. So there's a big stand over the left field wall that we stand on and see where the balls go. Then we go get them. Well, I see a ball go over the fence I'm looking at the field to my right. So I'm going to get it or go and try to get it and find it. I go and take a step and almost fall down the mountain. Literally, you can literally take a step and fall down the mountain. You drive up an elevation of I don't know how many thousands of feet, but it's literally in the mountains and you could walk off mountain.
So you would have been coming, or he would have been coming around the mountain, not she.
Correct.
All right, just to clear that up. Well, folks, look, this has been one of the funnest shows we've ever done.
I want to give a shout out to my boy Ezra Modier. Shop local, people.
Ezra,
Get it where you can.
Ezra, whenever you start giving me some free stuff,
Then we'll talk.
then we'll talk. Shout out to my boy Cotton & Co. But both of them, both great people. Y'all, thank you for tuning in to UnWoKeN. Thank you again to our producer, Carter. Thank you to Mr. Connor Toups for coming here. Y'all, this is UnWoKeN. I'm Scott Davis, the #1 podcast in the world for young conservative media. That's a fact. My fucking facts. The only ones that matter. God bless. Take care.
Over and out.
See your asses next week.
Over and out. Thank you for your time.
You sit up, dig it. You sit up, dig it.
This podcast is powered by Acadiana Cast Network. Go to acadianacast.com for more South Louisiana sourced content.